Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on this 2001 GTX Limited. This is the DI engine, not the carb, the direct injection engine. As you can see, I just removed all the rear decals off with the rubber eraser wheel. So I've got a mess. I have previously already removed the front registration decals. As you can see, it's pretty faded, but like the 04 red one I did, it will come back to life. I kind of did some light wet sanding on this side, but we'll go a little deeper once we get back into wet sanding. But for now, I want to get the old mats removed. I've already removed the little black plugs on the holes, so we'll get these mats removed. Using an 1/8 inch drill bit and a big side cutter to help grip and remove the pop rivets, and then we'll use a punch and a hammer to knock the pop rivets back in. So the plan here is to remove these mats, and we'll take it and we'll wash it, get it cleaned up, and then we'll fill the holes with our epoxy. Later we'll fix this little boo-boo here. That'll be the last thing we do. But we want to get these holes filled with epoxies after we get these removed. And then come spring, we'll fix the engine issue we have with it. It's got some TPS sensor, encoder sensor error. Engine starts and runs fine, got good compression. But you get it on the water, it goes into limp mode and throws TPS sensor code. So I'm hoping to get that replaced come spring. I wanted to get done this year, but too many other projects went ahead of it. But come spring, we'll get new Hydroturf on it, and we'll get all that fixed up, and then we'll get it sold. So let's get started on this thing. I usually start at the front, work my way back. One side done. Did that in less than, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Okay, so got my punch and my hammer. As you can see, they got pop rivets, remnants sticking up. So what we do is just take our punch. Sometimes they push in pretty easy. That way you don't have any of that sharp metal. Sticking up and grabbing your foot or damaging your mats, your new mats. Okay. So next we'll get some degreaser and clean up all these black spots and give it a good pressure washing. And then we'll start wet sanding and buffing and polishing it. I got to do this one. And I got to finish doing the other 95 XP717. I got to do this one. I just set the engine in this one, rebuilt engine in it today. So you'll see a video of that posted later, or posted before this one probably. But I'm gonna be in wet sanding mode, just wet sanding and polishing both of them at the same time. That way that's done for winter. So come spring, I just have mechanical work to do. I don't have to worry about trying to buff and polish and clean stuff up in the cold spring. So yeah, I'm gonna stop the video right here. And I'll add to it once I get this thing washed and cleaned up. Okay, so we're here at the car wash. We got the footwells and everything pretty dang clean. Look at that. All the other little spots we'll get with a rag. She looks good when she's all wet. When she dries, you'll see the fading. It'll go back to being faded. Yeah, she looks all good when she's wet. So we'll get these holes filled, and then we'll be ready to wet sand and buff and polish it. I've got it set back. This had the 95 XP on it, so it's kind of set up for that. For this, we'll need to move this forward. So now it's rear heavy, so she wants to tip up, which is a good thing when I'm washing it. That's a good thing when I'm washing it, so then I can just let it drain right out the back. Okay, I'll get her hooked back up and we'll head home. Okay guys, we're back here with the 01 GTX. Just got it washed. You can see it's drying and you can see the fade. We're going to start off with some wet sanding. We've got some water here with a little bit of Dawn dish soap and a 400 grit sandpaper. And a little Dawn dish soap. stupid spray bottles that you never want to keep spraying. I always fight with these cheap spray bottles. Okay, so I put a different spray nozzle on here. Hopefully this will work better. They just don't seem to last. I'm going to keep it wet. And the Dawn dish soap helps with lubrication. give it a dry off. before we go any finer. And then we'll see what it looks like before we go to 1500 and 2000 grit. Okay, so give us a good idea of where we're standing at. If we need to focus on any other areas with any rougher sandpaper, go back to 800 or 400 in any areas. She's going to look dull and faded, but at least she'll be consistent until we polish it. Buff and polish it, then she'll shine. We just want her to be even, where you can't see where the decal, the fading of where the decals were. So far, we're looking pretty good. I can kind of see the line there where the decal was at the right angle, but you have to be at the right angle to see it. I can't even see it on this side. A little bit right there, I guess. Very lightly. But this looks good. Very happy the way that turned out. The right angle, you can see some. I mean, you've got to be at the right angle. And I think some of that will come out when we hit it with a higher grit sandpaper. So yeah, guys, I'm going to continue on with this. I won't record all of it. When I start buffing and polishing, I'll do some recording on that, and you'll see the end result. So it's a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of time. I'm at the 40 minute mark to do 400, 800, and 1,000, and I'll do probably 1,500 and 2,000, 2,500. So another 40 minutes. So you're at 2 hours into doing this big ski. And then probably the buffing and polishing with the polisher won't take as long. It'll go pretty fast. It'll probably take me 20-30 minutes for this ski, so it'll turn out very well. I'm hoping. So 20 or 30 minutes here and there, we'll get it shined up. Okay guys, we got this thing polished up to 2500 grit. We'll buff and polish it later. Well, we got it wet sanded up to 2500 grit. We'll buff and polish it with a polisher later. Right now we're going to work on filling in these holes from the stock mats. Again, I would like to reiterate that whoever was the engineer, smart guy at Sea-Doo, that decided let's drill a bunch of holes and pop rivet the mats on, and instead of using glue-on mats, that person was just an idiot. And this is an 01, a 2001, so they were still doing it through the 90s up to 2001. I believe somewhere around 2004 or 5 they started actually using stick-on mats instead of putting in all these holes with pop rivets. But it just seems pretty stupid to put a lot of holes in a boat, in a watercraft. So what we're going to use is a Loctite epoxy, 2-part marine epoxy. Setting hours is 2 hours time. This will clear white, or this will dry white. I normally give it 24 hours to set and harden before I sand it smooth with the sander before I put mats on. Take the cap off. I think I already had this one open. Yep, this must have been from the when I was doing the other X4. Go ahead and use all of this, or most of it, because once we get the holes filled, they will kind of sink in. I normally go back a second time and touch up, fill in the ones that sink in a little bit. We got a plastic knife. I'm gonna mix it up real good. And it's fall and the leaves are falling. Summers are just too short here in Minnesota. Okay, so we're just going to fill the holes. Like I said, those big spots right there, that'll come up when I sand it. You can get a lot of that extra stuff off when you sand it, and it'll just leave the white spots in the holes. Trying to make sure none of those holes open up on me. Make sure they stay solid. And they might sink in a little bit. So a second, may have to go around and fill in some of the holes that sink in after an hour or so. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So then we'll let that cure, add some more if we need to, sand her smooth, and then she'll be ready for new mats. Not that hard to do, and the new mats will look great on it. You'll be glad you did that and got rid of those crappy mats. Those crappy bacon hard mats are just horrible on your feet. So yeah guys, thanks for watching the video. Hit that like button, leave me a comment, please subscribe. Want to get those subscribers up. A lot more stuff, content coming, a lot more promos coming, so stay tuned for that. Have a good one guys, peace out.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Thanks for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks.